Lindsay Sexton, welcome to the Hey Charlie podcast. I'm so excited to talk to you. Thank you for doing this.
Hello. Thank you so much for inviting me on. When you commented on LinkedIn and said you should come on the podcast, I was super excited. We had so much fun on our podcast when you came on.
But
So
didn't we?
this,
I feel like there
yeah,
was laughter. I felt
hmm
like we became friends. I feel like we could like see
absolutely.
each other in a place and like go up to each other and now have like real conversation based off of how good
Yeah,
that podcast was.
yeah. The only thing that I don't like about our friendship is that you like Coke Zero more than you like Diet Coke.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because that was the first thing I had on our agenda of really important things to talk about for the really
I mean,
important people that
important.
listen to this
Yeah,
podcast. I have come around a little bit. So I'm not trying to acquiesce and overly agree. I'm just saying, I'm just being honest with you. I've come around a little bit. I did no sugar with my wife for a month, which actually is not really true. I did she like truly did like no added processed sugars. Like she was like looking at the back of every possible thing in like a
yeah.
grocery store, and she was like super. I'm gonna curse here. She was like super fucking impressive about it. Like she just like was like not putting anything in her diet. She wanted to see like how her body would
Wow.
react. I think I cut mine down. I'm gonna guess I cut mine down by like 70%, which is like not nothing, but I wasn't like
It's
looking at the back of everything. And what was crazy is it does have the capability to like super change your taste buds. So then like I went to go drink a regular Coke and it was way too sweet. And the other way to say it is like when I had a Coke Zero, I thought that I was drinking regular Coke. Now, I will say this about Diet Coke still is Diet Coke actually does have a very specific taste that's significantly different from both Coke and Coke Zero. But I am now at the point where if I was at a restaurant and they didn't have Coke Zero, I'm not doing the weird thing I was doing before, which is like I don't want anything. I don't want Diet Coke. I mean you could feel the energy. You could feel my anti Diet Coke energy when we would talk about it. I was
yeah.
very vehemently against Diet Coke. So I'm not saying that you've like won this argument or debate, but I'm just trying to acquiesce a little bit and say I get it. I can drink Diet Coke. It's not bad.
It's not terrible. They're also coming out with so many variations right now with the Diet Coke Cherry, the Diet Coke Lime. I haven't tried the Diet Coke Lime, but I am partial.
This is this rift still between us. Wait, which one are you partial to?
I like the Diet Coke Cherry because I will
Yeah.
drink a Coke Zero Cherry like on a warm summer day, like we're going out on the beach or going to the pool or whatever. Um, I'll get like a bottled diet or whatever it is, Coke Zero Cherry. But they came out with like these Diet Coke variations of cherry and lime, and the cherry is so good. I haven't tried the lime though,
So
so
let's be honest. There is still a real rift between us because we are exactly the opposite ends. Where like I get excited if I see the cherry Coke Zero or the lime Coke Zero,
mhm.
and I'll be happier if I see a diet with it. But if they're two next to each other, it's like not even a question. Like it's just 1,000% the cherry Coke Zero is better than the India. So it is funny. We still have the rift. It's still there,
We
but
still do.
I'm more open to it. Okay. Well, it's been great having you on the podcast. I'm really glad we could find 4 minutes to talk about the Coke thing, and I'll hit you up
Yep.
in the next couple months, and we'll talk about a bunch of other
Great.
really important, like soda related conversation. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
good. See you later.
All right. The real thing that we're going to talk about is I've worked with my dad for 20 some years. You've worked with your mom for.
11 months now.
So let's just talk about working with parents. We've got two very
Yeah,
different, levels of experience with it, and it'll be like
absolutely.
wholesome, and this will be for the people in our like network and world that want to feel seen or heard because they work with their parents, or they've thought about working with their parents, or they left working with
hmm
their parents, or whatever it is. Your parent is now in this supervisory partner weird maelstrom of power and dynamics, but they're like you have a familial thing. I find this topic super interesting. My part of my undergrad was family business. It was like that was a whole
Oh,
school
interesting.
in my business program, and they got funding and
Cool.
everything. And I shit you not when I say this, the family business starter class, like the first one you took for family business, they had a therapist show up once a week,
They
like legit.
should. They
Right?
absolutely
It
100% should.
sounds like a
Yeah.
joke. It sounds like there's a punchline coming, but it was like no, like they actually had a
No,
licensed
genuinely. Yeah,
therapist
that's,
in
I
the
mean, sometimes it's
class.
needed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it is needed. Sometimes it is needed. Okay, so how about we start with you since this is a newer thing. And my
Sure.
favorite thing about your story is is that you were like, well, before I go work with my mom and officially do this, which you decided 11 months ago, before I do this, I will trial something out, which was, please tell me about this. I'm so excited to hear how this idea came about.
Yeah, so I graduated college in the middle of COVID with a public health degree and was
Oh,
like, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. I want to run exactly in the opposite direction of all of this crazy that's happening. And one of our friends was hiring at an insurance association for like a marketing community outreach type role. And I took that and then decided that I was going to go to grad school. And while I was in grad school, my mom came to me and was like, "Hey, I need your help marketing wise. I'm going to start a podcast, but I don't have a name. I don't have a co host. I don't know what I'm going to do." And I jokingly was like, "Ha ha ha, I'm in the industry now. We should do it together." And didn't really think that she was going to be like, I was genuinely joking, like, why would I want to be on an insurance podcast? That's boring, like, was like my mindset.
first off, rude, but go ahead.
I have a very established insurance podcast saying that now. But she was like, "That's an amazing idea. Let's do it." And so we decided to start the insurance podcast. I graduated college and moved into a new role at an insurance network, and we're now up to like 150 episodes on that podcast.
150 episodes. That is
Yes.
incredible. Not just because you've done 150 podcasts about insurance, which in its own right is like pretty impressive, but you've done
Yeah.
150 episodes with your mom, right? And that's
Hmm.
not anything about that's just in general, any kid with their parent doing something
Yeah.
150 times is like, holy like, okay,
Hmm.
wow. All right. So I guess the podcast went well enough that you were like,
Yeah.
I guess I can hang out with you more and do other type of work, I guess, right?
Yeah. So I started mid last year, so mid 2024, doing like some consulting work, like redoing my mom's website, kind of with the mindset of like, if I'm going to join this company in 2025, like some serious things need to change. And if they're going to be like stamp of approval by Lindsay, I just want to be involved in the process. Like, can I just do it myself? And so we had already trialed, working together for 2.5-ish years doing the podcast, and things were going well. Like we butted heads on things, of course, but we split work nicely. We figured out a good flow and things were going well. It was really fun to like interview some of our really good friends and some new people and new friends on there. Um, and I decided eventually, hey, I'm just going to join the family company. And something about me is I don't actually know a lot about our family company. So we do insurance agency finance. So anything from valuation all the way up to fractional CFO. I don't even like to like add 2 plus 2 together. Like I hate numbers, but I really
Perfect
like,
fit.
yeah, great fit. I really like sales. I really like marketing. I really like operations. Like I like everything but the numbers, and the numbers will come to me eventually because I like business itself. So when you like business itself, the numbers come. But um, yeah, when I first joined Agency Focus, it was kind of like a cool, you're here, now go get business. Like I don't have time to do the sales part anymore. I don't really have my mom. Like she doesn't really have time to do the sales part anymore. She doesn't really have time to do the partnership
Go forth and find
development.
me new customers.
Go do it, and then I'll do me and the team will do the customer part. So it's been really fun being part of the team, and I've learned an absolute ton. I still have so much more to learn, but it's been fun traveling with my mom and working alongside her. There definitely are times when I'm like, it's a Sunday at 8 p.m. and I'm still working. Like, why am I doing this? This absolutely sucks. But then I wake up on Monday morning and I'm like, sweet, I get to work with my mom again. Like, let's go. It's kind of like there's weird trade-offs there for a family company.
Well, that's wholesome. That's super wholesome. Okay, so let's do a crazy detour here.
Okay.
Let's make the pitch one way or the other, agree or disagree, but make your pitch for why somebody should consider doing a podcast with one or both of their parents.
You want me to do the pitch both ways, or you want me to just
No, just whatever your heart says. You know,
Um,
what if your experience like leads
see,
people to be like, wait a minute, I wonder if my mom would do a podcast with me, or
so one of the biggest like reasons why too is especially if you are a second generation coming in and you are looking for credibility and you are looking for clients to trust you when they currently trust your parent, your mom or your dad, because there have been so many conversations that I've walked into, so many sales conversations, partnership conversations, you name it, where I thought that I was like starting from 0 or -1. Like I really had to like introduce myself and I know I look young, but you can trust me with this, even though I don't actually know what I'm talking about, right? Like those early days where I really didn't actually know what was happening, but I'm like, I want to make a sale, like I'm trying to drive revenue. And I would get on the call, and because of the fact that I've been on the podcast, they actually would start with, "Hey, Lindsay, how's wedding planning going? You're getting married in France, right?"
because they know about your life.
Like
Oh,
they
wow.
knew so much about me. Even before I was part of the company, when I was working for a network, I would join calls with people that I didn't even know that they knew my mom. And they'd be like, "Hey, how's your dog? Your dog was sick earlier this week, right?" And to me,
Oh
we'd
my
recorded
God.
that podcast months ago, and I didn't even remember that my dog was sick 3 months
This
ago.
feels like the argument against doing podcasts in general is having strangers ask me about my sick dog, but I'm here. I hear you. I get you. I get it.
Like, yeah, like they knew so people like know you, right? And the trustworthiness of, and again, my mom is just like a very trustworthy person. Like she's very salt of the earth. She's one of the best humans I know. So maybe you
Wow.
don't want people that
Clipping
like,
this for her. This is the
yeah,
Mother's
great,
Day
thank
clip.
you.
You're welcome.
No, maybe you don't want people to know that your dad's your dad. If you don't want them to know that, don't do a podcast with your dad. But if you have a great mom like me who you can't really find someone to say a bad word about her, like, of course I want to be tied to her and let people get to know me in my early career.
Yeah, but
Like,
unfortunately for me, right? The views and listens and everything were predicated off of 8 minutes of horrible things to say about your mom. So now that I know there's not one bad word, I'm really the whole podcast is going to tank in its analytics. Okay, so I am like so sentimental that your answer was great and it was in this like really good like what if it could help establish credibility in family business succession second generation any who is this
mhm.
person like kind of like knocked out of the park dynamite answer. Mine is so much more emotional and sentimental of like schedule time to talk to your parents. And here's my twist on it. You don't actually have to publish the podcast. So you could
Yep.
also have a different thing here. Let's say you don't work with your parents because most people don't work with their parents. What if you did a podcast every other week with your mom or your dad or your grandma or whoever, your like aunt who's really funny who you just don't get to talk to that often? But it doesn't necessarily go public, but it can go to like your family group chats. Like you
That would be
clip the
very cute.
funniest or whatever. You are scheduling time with people you love when the phones are put away, right? And I always talk about this with the weird thing about podcasting is that if you or I right now picked up our phone and started looking at it, it would almost feel worse and more rude than if we did it at a dining table. Which, by all means, it should like the worst place to possibly do it is like at dinner across from somebody. Like that's just like it's. But
Yeah.
it doesn't. It would feel way worse if one of us started texting while we were podcasting
Hmm.
with each other. So
Hmm.
it's like if we have all this set up and they've made it super easy to like turn a
Yeah.
camera on and talk and to record it and to edit it, if it's never been easier to do this, wouldn't it be like super freaking wholesome to like have something semi-regular with the loved ones in your life where you can story tell, you can capture things, you can catch up, but then you can clip some of the best favorite moments and then like share it with the other love people like people that you love in life. And so it's not necessarily just like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm gonna put it on Spotify and I'm gonna get advertisers off of stories that my mom says. Like, what if there's like this other hidden private thing that you can do with this technology?
Absolutely.
So look at you and I. We
That's
just
really
gave up
cute.
two really good reasons for people to like think about having their own. Which I like it too because it's counterintuitive. It's like in like 2015 we already thought there was too many podcasts. In 2020 we definitely knew that podcasts were like over and they had been too many.
Absolutely.
And in 2025 we're still saying the same thing and there just continues to be like even more. So like
Or
it's people like being around and listening to people like that have a good vibe and are like they feel like they're in the room with them. And like that's what I learned. And that's where it's like instead of me like asking for your three biggest business tips, I mean maybe we would and that would be great, but it's more about like did you and I connect on call it all and talk about something meaningful, which I feel like we're doing already, and
Hmm.
we're more than halfway through our episode. Okay, so I will tell you a little bit about my background with working with my dad, since you gave me a bit
Sure.
of yours. He
Hmm.
is like a Hall of Fame like agent for Allstate, like one of the best that ever did it for Allstate Insurance. Um, Ton of people knew him, and then yeah, I was the youngest of four, so like I was coming in my early 20s, and definitely like imposter syndrome, and then I had such a fear of like people's perspective from a nepotism thing. Like I was
Hmm.
definitely way
Hmm.
too concerned with that now looking in hindsight, but at the time it makes sense, and
Hmm.
I didn't want anything to look like favoritism. I didn't want to like be given responsibility over stuff if I wasn't qualified and somebody else was qualified for it. So I just
Hmm.
remember like there was all of that dynamic, but then there was also like my dad and I were both like want to be head chef type personalities in the kitchen, you know?
Hmm.
And I was like, well, like I'm like I very much want to like be a leader and to jump in, and if I fail,
Yep.
I failed and I'll own it, but like I'm happy that I was the one that like failed, you know?
Hmm.
And my dad's got 40 years of that, like was like ahead of me. So it was like it was so much work, man. And I was glad that I did the undergrad and I read books, but I still had to like talk to people, and I still even did like a
Hmm.
little bit of therapy to be like my dad and I were not a ideal like on perfect paper fit for each other, and it took like work. And so my like shorter version of this for like a podcast, because I feel like I could write a book about this, my shorter version of this is that it doesn't always have to be like a perfect dynamic, you know, like sometimes you can also find somebody where the dynamic doesn't feel perfect, and there's like
Hmm.
tension, and there's like something that doesn't feel like it's always good, but it can be worked at and
Yep.
made to be good. And then of course there's the other solution where you shouldn't work with your parents too. But
Yeah.
sometimes I think you like people want to slide in and be like, oh, this isn't going well. Yeah, we're too different. I'm not going to do this. And I'm like a believer that actually a lot of time there actually can be some compromise, some work, especially for I think from the younger generation,
Hmm.
because I think you do have to have like a bit of humility and understand like lack of experience or respecting what's been done, and resilience probably. And so I'm
Hmm.
really glad that I have this, you know, closer connection I think to my dad than I would have had if I hadn't worked with him, and to be proud that we built stuff together and had so much fun talking business. But there were times where I was just like so out, like just so like I'm out, I'm leaving, I'm never doing this again. It's over. I just want to
Yeah.
talk to my dad about baseball or football. I just want to go on a hike and not talk about Q4. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
moments
Oh,
like that.
100%. Well, I had moments. So six, the first 7 months that I was working for my mom full time, I was also planning an international wedding. So
Which congratulations to both of us. June 3rd for me, and
June 8th abroad for me
so
was our
we got
wedding. Yeah.
married a week apart from each other. How
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
But an
Congratulations to
international
you as well.
destination wedding is no small feat. Were you able to have any like did you have were you able to find anybody that like excels in wedding planning, or people around you that helped kind of carry the burden with you, because that's next
Well,
level.
I have a wedding planner who grew up in the area where I got married, so that really, really helped. But it was such a weird time because I I would like get on to like a one-on-one, if you can call it that. It was like a 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. or 5 a.m., right? Like I just called my mom to ask about a question about wedding planning, or hey, you said you weren't feeling good, how are you? And it turned into like an hour-long call where we ranged in topic from like what dress should I wear to the night before, to what food are we picking, to hey, that person needs an email back, but I didn't know how to respond and I need you to answer this question for me, to like large strategic question about the organization's future, to like what I'm gonna eat for lunch, right? Like the span of like how many like areas of your brain you can pick in one time was like insane. And that was a big adjustment. For a minute there, I had to tell my mom, like, if you needed to talk to me about something personal, I need you to like text me. And if you need to tell me about something about work, I need you to Teams message me. And then I need to know what you want Teams message versus what you want Outlook, like emailed, because everyone has that like where's your line for Teams message versus Outlook, right? Like I didn't know where hers was, and like we were like miscommunicating on things. So I was like going through all of that, trying to figure it out. And it was crazy. I mean, that was like a crazy 7 months. Thank God I'm not wedding planning anymore because that made it so much easier. Now it's just like, what am I going to eat for lunch? And I need you to answer this like work question and any other life thing other than wedding planning. But um,
you hit like a crazy good point that like that is what happens. You think that you're going to have a 20
yeah.
minute phone call that easily goes an hour and a half because you are now sharing access to all these different parts of somebody's life, right? Whereas
Hmm.
otherwise you might ask how is work doing and you might hear an anecdote and then you would move on. But now it's like, oh
Yeah.
no, we are now both talking about I think that is such a funny and feels resonates so strong
Yeah.
with me on that part with my dad.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Did
what kind
your,
of
well, I have a question for you. Did
yeah,
your mom
ask,
also
please.
work in the agency?
Yeah, she was killer good at it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because my dad does not work for our family company. And sometimes it'll be like Friday and I realize like, oh my God, I didn't talk to my dad this week. Like, I probably should call him and like say, hi, hey, how you doing? And I'll call him and I'll be like, I've heard you talking to mom all week, but you didn't ever call me. And I'm like, but I
This is
have
good.
like,
See, we're coming across really good PSAs. This is what you want in a podcast,
yeah,
right? So here's our next
call your
PSA.
dad.
Whoever the parent is that's not you're not working with, schedule time
Call them.
to talk to them because you do get a crazy imbalance for sure. Because my mom was like in the agency, but like it was at different varying levels, and then not for as long as active as my dad was. So what you're
Hmm.
saying was 1,000% true. Like I had like years
Yeah.
long imbalance of talk time.
Yeah,
So really, I should
exactly.
be doing a podcast with my mom. I think is now what you're helping me realize, just to make up
Hmm. Hmm.
for lost time and talk to her about
Yep,
whatever she wants to
exactly.
talk about. Okay, all right, I'll start working on that. We got to figure out the play
Good.
thing. Yeah, okay. This has been really wholesome. I really enjoyed this. What any thoughts on where anything that you feel like, and this can be like things that you feel like you want to get even better at in your relationship with working with your mom, or things that you're actually already kind of proud of that you've like navigated when we get into this like wanting to get better and better at managing, this is my mom and I really value our relationship, and also this is the in my work life somebody that it, like looms large on like our shared professional success.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things that I want to get better at working for my mom, and just like working with my mom, right? Like, I don't even really feel like I work for my mom. I really feel like I work with her. But one of the things is I recently read a book right here called Making the Noise Go Away, Make the Noise Go Away by
No,
Larry
this is,
Linney.
helps that you're holding it up to the camera like this because I this gives me an opportunity to try to get some type of kickback from the author. So I'll DM them after this with the clip. It's
He's a really
perfect.
great guy. You would like him, actually. You should have him on the podcast.
Okay.
He's coming on our podcast soon to talk
Oh
about
my
me
god.
reading this book. But it's all about like how to be a good second in command, right? And not that I think I'm the only one who's the second in command for my mom. There's plenty of different roles of being second in command. I'm definitely the second in command for like business strategic purposes, right? So partnerships, sales, um, future initiatives we're working on that I can't talk about right now. And then there's
Ooh,
other people that
tantalizing. It's always
are,
good to give a little like I can't really talk about those right now. It's like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then there's other people in our org who are like back end for my mom that are, you know, her second in command in other ways. But this really helped me frame kind of like, how can I really help my mom have less going on in her brain without her really knowing it? And as I was reading this, I tried to do some of the things without telling her I was doing it. And then we actually got on a call once and she was like, I don't understand why you're saying all of these things to me. Like, why are you like, what do you do? You're micromanaging me. Stop it. And I do micromanage her on a regular basis. And that's like a fight that we're always going to have. Like, that's fine. But, I was like, oh, I read this book and it said like to be a good second in command, you know, I could, the things that keep you up at night, I should regularly be giving you updates about and like actively trying to find ways to help you on. And she was like, well, I wish you told me that before because I thought you were just dumping things on my plate with the way you were asking questions. I didn't realize you were trying to like take pieces back.
So
And
like
so we have,
here's the thing I'm most worried about existentially about our business, and here's my daughter reminding me every day that I should continue
yeah,
to still be worried about
yeah.
it.
So she thought I was like poking her. And really, I was trying to like take some. So I think the thing that we as a partnership need to work better on is me being able to take on more things and help her be able to sleep better at night, and her being able to let go of the things and allow me to help her when it's things that she doesn't need her fingers actually in, right? Like when it's some of the lower hanging fruit. So that's probably the biggest thing that I/we are working on together,
What are you proud of?
that
What are
is
you proud
always
of in
going to
the
be.
what are you proud of in the first 11 months that you feel like
What
maybe
am I
something you've
proud of?
with the
So in the
working
first
relationship with your
11
mom?
months, yeah, one of the things that we set out to do was make some partnerships with networks. And she had pretty well established herself in the association world as like a good partner, but networks were something that people had, knew of Agency Focus and knew of us, but there weren't actual opportunities in order to partner other than like put my logo on your website. So I developed some masterminds, group benchmarking, in ways that we can actually like give real data and assistance to networks. And I'm really proud of that. We have probably 8-ish networks that in the first year we're building partnerships with, and more in the works to come too. So it's been pretty successful.
And that's something that like your mom kind of gave you some sense of autonomy, and then that felt more about building like a good relationship with her, that she trusted you, and then you
Mhm.
helped deliver that. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's so great. Okay. We are almost out of time, but
Mhm.
I'm so thankful that we managed to just get a conversation started about working with parents and the
Mhm.
good and the bad and the ugly. And it sounds like you actually are like on ramping on in a really healthy way. And I just can't get over the forethought you had to be like, well, if we do over 100 episodes together, we're gonna kind of find out the push and the pull, and where we
Mhm.
agree or disagree, and how we navigate conflict and confusion. And I'll just share something that you made me think of that I really like, that unlocked a lot for my relationship with my dad as far as working with him was, and they say this is a huge thing for marriage as well, so it goes to show you like any close relationships work like this way. But the magic of assuming incredibly good intent when things are in a frustration stress area of your head. So when you are feeling like she feels like you're poking her, right, and you feel like she's not giving you access to trying to help her, right, and there's this like both sides of it. There's a certain magic that happens when you pause and stop, and even if you have to use like the imagination part of your brain to be like, what if I gave them absolute perfect good intent, they're on my team and they absolutely want the best for me? Then your
Mhm.
whole demeanor a lot of times can start to soften and change, and the resolution's a lot easier to get to. And I think for too long I would get to the resolution, which is good, but I only get to the resolution by like having my fists like super clenched
Mhm.
and stressed and work and keep grinding. And then I would get to the resolution, so then I would think that the only way to get there is to continue to like seize up my whole body and be like, I gotta get
Yep.
there, And then you
Mhm.
realize like, oh, actually, you can like open up your hands and like your shoulders can go down, and you can like relax your neck, and you can be like,
Yeah.
this person loves me. They want the best for me. You cannot say that a lot of the time about other super direct supervisor or roles that you would have in a business. And so that's one of the things you should be benefiting from, is you do not actually have to question that your parent wants the best for you. So if you don't have to question that, does it kind of
Mhm.
melt away some of the stress and frustrations that you're going through when you're trying to find resolution? Just find the resolution, imagining really good intent. And that's my little piece of learned wisdom
Yeah.
over the last 20 years, that it
Love
seems
that.
like you may have already kind of figured out a little bit of that.
Yeah. One of my really good mentors phrases that to me as approach situations with childlike curiosity.
Hey, there we
Like
go.
children don't assume negative intent. So why do we do that for our spouse or our boss? Or well, when your boss is your mom, if your boss is not your parent, sometimes that's a little bit different of a story. But um yeah, approach things with
We do, and I think
childlike
that it's good to
curiosity.
hear it, because I think we don't intend to do it ourselves. Like we don't choose to have like an ungenerous interpretation of somebody's actions. It just kind of happens. And so if we're
Hmm.
not aware of it and we don't like stop it in its track and like reset, it's so easy so quickly to assume somebody's being selfish
Yeah.
or greedy or wants some type of whatever, and then it like colors the whole thing wrong. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
30 minutes of straight up, we really we got the verdict on Coke Zero over Diet Coke. So happy about that. We got that out of the way, and we talked about podcasting and spending time with our parents and work. It was a blast. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. What a fun time.
What a fun time. Let's do it again. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.